Greetings. This is my first of probably many little infograms that I'm going to prepare for you because I feel like I'm sitting on an awful lot of crop circle information that needs to get out to the world. And at a time like this, I don't think there's anything more important than a subject being hidden this well for reasons that I think you need to know. So I'd like to start with the punchline of why crop circles are important and why perhaps you haven't heard about the amazing ones we've had in the last few weeks in England, like day after day after day. And probably a number of them in America that hasn't been reported, or who knows, perhaps they have, we just haven't been looking for them. But the punchline of why I stay with the program after making 8 movies and paying for all of them and then learning about the industry being so anti-real UFO material is that, here's the punchline. The seeds inside crop circles have been proven repeatedly to grow 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per seed, with up to 75% more nutrition per plant. That's right. 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per seed, repeatedly in the lab of William Levengood and Penny Kelly through the 1990s, all the way up until 2013. They worked together relentlessly on studying crop circles and the biophysical evidence, what it really proved. Not only did these seeds provide so much more food and biofuel, but they also offered up to 75% more nutrition per plant, which is huge for bringing our food supply back, as you can only imagine, once we get control of our food supply again. So my series of, hey, what's up? Where I'm just going to get on and talk to you, is really about the next. I'm not going to focus on all the crap we're dealing with today, all the problems in the world, because you've got enough people telling you about all of that. I want to talk about solutions, and that's where my focus is on solutions. So here we've got a solution possibly for the food supply where we can grow that much more food with up to 75% more nutrition per plant. But further than that, when it comes to countries like Siberia or perhaps Africa, as two extremes, the seeds were tested repeatedly in the lab in soil that was too hot, too cold, too wet, and too dry. And the seeds that were hit with these spinning plasma vortices of plasma actually created super seeds. That's the punchline of 8 movies that I've made, and I've received 8 prestigious awards over the years. But a lot of people across the world haven't heard about my films. And my website is cropcirclefilms.com. So peeking at cropcirclefilms.com, you will see the most gorgeous photos of crop circles, because I personally have laid in more than 100 of them over the years and never been in a hurry. I can't say I'm very friendly with people when I'm in crop circles because I'm not there to be gabbing and gossiping and talking with people. I'm more about being in the formations and getting the messages that are there for those of us who are listening. So even if you haven't heard about crop circles for the last bunch of years, the reason is because we have super seeds and the possibility of bringing our food supply back. And I guess perhaps people that are running the news and the media and all the ways of reaching you are saying, don't let that information get out. You know, we want to keep plumbing out the GMO foods and, you know, corn chips and all that stuff that people eat when they watch football, drink a lot, and yell at each other. So we have a choice now to really raise our frequency by choosing our media and our friends more carefully. And I know that after having contact, which I did in 2007 in a crop circle, everything in my life changed. And it took me years to stop blaming the people around me for being so closed-minded, because they weren't. They were the same. It was me that changed. And perhaps it's you that's changed. And so to come to the realization that it's us that is different now, it's us who have recalibrated our thinking, our emotions, our physical bodies. And that's why perhaps we're not resonating like we used to with the world as it is today. So I think the most important things we can do as people that meet on Facebook or on social media, or God forbid you come to my website and watch some movies about crop circles and UFOs that have no misinformation whatsoever, we're going to have a lot more fun. But the test now in 2017 is to really evolve our discernment, to really wake up our inner consciousness and stop following the false prophets. And stop trying to think that, well, because that's popular, it's probably fantastic. Because perhaps it really isn't. Perhaps it's popular because it's funded heavily to get you to believe in a false narrative, which is really what's going on now. We are seeing incredible funding behind stories that just aren't true. And perhaps we're all being groomed for a big Project Bluebeam coming up, so we're being told about all these alien species that are at war in the skies and in the earth, and we better be careful. But thank God, there is a God coming to save us all. And if we can only, pay our monthly fee and follow the news, we're going to be just fine. And so here we've got all these new cults growing, and they're grabbing the young people and trying to bring in the millennials. And meanwhile, here we are as elders and as people, who knows, 30s, 40s, 50s, 10, 15, 20-year-olds. Yeah, we're all waking up together now. This is no longer some hippie generational movement. This is a movement of all people realizing, oh my God, we've been duped. So I want to focus on how we can undupe the situation. And I would say that I've probably been through more in the last year than anybody watching this video. I've been hit with energy weapons at my house and in person. I watched it happen, and there wasn't a darn thing I could do from the stage. I have been through some real, don't want to swear on my first video, but I got to tell you, I'm not too impressed with humanity right now. But my commitment is to deliver the information about crop circles. So, number one punchline is that they're superseeds. You barely can kill them once they've been hit with these frequencies. So how can we benefit from knowing that? Well, let's learn the technology. Let's learn the science. Oh, wait a minute. William Levengood and Penny Kelly actually did. And they worked with so many samples, and they measured the magnetics from the center out further in hundreds of crop circles. And they measured the explosion nodes of where the wheat, corn, barley, oats bent. You can see these biophysical changes that wouldn't happen with humans breaking down the wheat with boards and ropes. It's easy to tell a real crop circle from a non-human-made crop circle if you just get on your knees as soon as you enter the crop circle and dig through the wheat, and you can see every 3 feet a whole line of broken wheat. It's pretty self-evident when you're in a human-made crop circle. But once we get further into this conversation, you will realize that even some of the human-made crop circles are very, very real. So we are in a spin right now of a lot of misinformation and not much of the truth coming out. And that's why I'm going to devote myself to talking about crop circles on a number of videos for you, where you don't have to pay and watch a movie, and you can just pop it up on YouTube for a few minutes when you get in the mood. So we know that they're making a lot more food with a lot more nutrition, and they will last in areas that have rough weather. The other punchline, I think it's extremely important, is that when we quit talking about Doug and Dave or the blokes that are greatly artistic and they went in the field and they did it, they made an ad for a group and so we film them on TV. Or if the BBC wants to talk about crop circles, they'll probably hire a human crew. Ancient Aliens hired a human crew last year to do their episode on crop circles. I had called my friend over there at the research center in May, like a month and a half before the season started, and I said, "How you doing?" And Charles said, "Oh, I can't talk too long because Ancient Aliens will be here soon. They're filming an episode." I was like, "Well, wait a minute, there's no crop circles yet. We're like a month before season, and this was 2015. And he said, yeah, they asked me to hire a human crew. They're coming early. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But I wasn't impressed. And I'm sorry they did that because we have June and July and early August with dozens of crop circles that you can film. And you can fly in a microlight or a helicopter and film dozens of them at the end of July and early August when the farmers begin to mow their fields. So that's only Southern England. But if we want to blame the crop circles on those old guys, Doug and Dave, in the 80s, why didn't they talk about the same one that happened on the same night, in another country, like Argentina, like Spain, like Italy, like France? Crop circles are happening everywhere. When the wheat, the barley, the corn, the oats, even Brussels sprouts have been bent over. Fields of Brussels sprouts have been bent over into a crop circle. Now that one I'd like to see. Definitely like to see that. So what's happening to create crop circles? And again, I'm going to go to the punchline in case this is the only video you see, just so you realize, oh my God, they are not fake. And there is a whole lot more to this story. And if you want the long versions of what I'm telling you now, go to my website, cropcirclefilms.com, and rent a movie. $5. You got it for a week. You can watch it once, twice, 3 times, whatever you want. But I have 8 movies to pick from. And the final one, Crop Circle Diaries, to me answers every question I've ever had. And I think most of you might have about crop circles, or perhaps never even thought about. But once we get over the joke about the 2 old guys making the crop circles, or these teams of people, yes, there are teams that you can hire to make a crop circle. But there's also the real ones. And a real crop circle to me is when I walk in and the hair stands up on my arms and I get goosebumps head to toe, tingles, chills. You can tell you have stepped into a field that you weren't in a few minutes ago. A field of enhanced frequencies, biophysical changes that weren't in the last field. That weren't in the field as you were walking in, the tram lines, the tractor lines where the farmers water their fields with their machines. So they allow you to walk through the tram lines, that's etiquette, but they don't want you to walk into the wheat and damage their property. So for years, all the years that I was filming, the farmers were really, really friendly. And in 2016, when I got hacked more than any filmmaker in history, the research center closed. Now, this is where we met every morning. First thing, map on the wall, push pins of every crop circle. We'd meet people from different countries, all the other researchers. Anybody making a movie, we'd meet at the research center. It was our place. It's gone. There was one store right there in the epicenter, which was in the Avebury Stone Circle, called the Henge. Fantastic store. They had crop circle everything. And when I was there, they averaged, 100 movies. If they sold one, they sold 100 of my films every year. When I went and took a load over, they sold out, which was great. On the other hand, when I called at the beginning of this summer, they said, "Oh no, mate, we're not into crop circles anymore. People aren't interested." I was like, what? The Henge in the Avebury Stone Circle said people aren't interested? This is this is the epicenter of crop circle deliveries. So the research center closed. The store that sold more crop circle anything than anything said people lost interest. What on earth happened to humanity? Whatever happened, we have to work together to change that. And even though you might not have heard about my work or seen my films, these funny little guys behind me are 5 EBE Awards from the International UFO Congress Convention, which I have gone to almost every year. And I was a speaker once, had a standing ovation, but haven't been invited back to speak yet. I look forward to speaking there again. But the interesting thing happening in the field is that we've got a real separation now in 2017. I think 2016 was the year when they destroyed most of the people telling the truth. All the good people got really hacked. And then we watched a lot of people rise to the surface really fast, like appear out of nowhere and become super famous, highly promoted, talking about things that were pretty off the wall. And then we started hearing a lot of stories about the mind control of the handlers running these people and the corporations behind them. And the stories keep coming and coming and coming. And it's a very difficult thing when you're sitting in the middle of having beautiful young children and your doctor says, vaccinate them. And you go, okay. But we have way too much evidence now to even consider the possibility of vaccinating an innocent child. It's one of those things that hopefully will be illegal soon. But meanwhile, they're vaccinating our mind with so much misinformation. And in the field of ufology today, 2017, I'm still being hacked probably more than anyone because I can't imagine not wanting the food supply to come back. I don't understand why something this important would be this much of a secret. But crop circles are still really a secret. And there's been fantastic crop circles every day in the epicenter in Wiltshire. Why Wiltshire? The Avery Stone Circle. Stonehenge over there, Glastonbury over there. So what we have is sacred sites splattered everywhere. Sacred sites more than anywhere else on earth per square mile. And almost every crop circle in every country has been documented sitting over a ley line, a line between 2 sacred sites. So, no wonder Avebury. The other thing is that the Avery Stone Circle has 3 underground streams that meet in the center, and on the edge is the crossing, the only place on that side of the planet where the Michael and Mary ley lines, the 2 most powerful ley lines on Earth, strongest spiritual frequency energies moving through the planet, through space, they meet and cross at the edge of the Avery Stone Circle. So you've got powerful ley line energy, you've got 3 underground streams meeting, and the other high 90 percentile consistency with crop circle locations is that almost all of them are sitting over an aquifer of water or a body of water. And southern England, Wiltshire, this epicenter, it's the largest salt aquifer in the world. So it's an easy call. What happened though? Our research center's gone. Our store no longer talks about crop circles or sells crop circle stuff. Oh, maybe a few postcards, but that's it. I'm like, huh? Oh my God. So I'm going to have to pump it out for free because you guys have to know this is a real phenomenon. They're not going to stop anytime soon. And it's really, really important, the technology happening in crop circles. They are not coming out of the sky. They're not all these things that you've been told. And again, I'm just going to give you my opinion. I can't say anything I'm telling you is correct. I'm telling you, to the best of my knowledge, this is my opinion. But what happened to me in 2014 was I met Penny Kelly in the strangest way on earth. Penny Kelly, who worked with Levengood, who had died the year before. But it was Levengood who brought us together. And there were witnesses present that watched him show up from the other side with me. And then I saw him myself when I went to Penny's house. I saw him walk right through a door, and that was it. I was like, oh, okay. Can't fake that. So I'm a total believer. When people tell me that crop circles are fake, I used to go into a big conversation. Now my response is, well, there you go. So I really do have a lot to say about crop circles that I think you all need to know. And I'm going to give you one more punchline. Crop circles are coming out of the earth in counter-rotating vortices of spinning plasma. Crop circles are coming out of the earth. They're not coming out of the sky. Now, why would I say such a completely off-the-wall thing? William Levengood and Penny Kelly proved that it was true by measuring the magnetics, by measuring the throw of the wheat, the extension of the explosions before they bent over. All of these scientific elements over and over and over showed them that crop circles are coming out of the earth in counter-rotating vortices of spinning plasma frequencies. They have different boundary conditions, different frequencies, very specific, that were pre-planned and pre-intended so that the crop circle would be perfect when it laid down. How do I know this? Only through Levengood and Penny's research. But I think that they went a lot further than anybody else on Earth. And if you decide to watch my final film, Crop Circle Diaries, you will see what they did to hide William Levengood's work. Why would they suppress somebody doing something to bring back the organic food supply? Same reason they're suppressing me, Patty Greer films today. I guess they don't want evolution, but guess what? They don't matter anymore. The powers that were the new. And that's why I'm here to talk to you and welcome you to please look into crop circles and look into what we can do to bring our food supply back, because it's never been more important than now to bring in these advanced technologies, which the other dimensionals are sharing with us. And we know that that's why they're not talking about crop circles, about UFOs. They're talking about Roswell over and over and over and over and over, and the same stories over and over and over, so that we get kind of bored and our brain just goes, yeah, I heard that. Well, there's a lot you haven't heard, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So please subscribe to my mailing list, and I'll always send you a copy of these talks. I don't know how often I'll do them, but I know that every time I get inspired, now I know how. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And if you enjoyed this video, hit like, drop me a line, whatever, and I'll make a whole bunch more. Patty Greer, signing off. Actually, no. Thank you. May the force be with you. CropCircleFilms.com.